no matter whether I eat well, exercise, meditate, drink water, if I'm holding back on me and me being able to say, this is who I am, this is what I've got to offer, then the body starts to go into ill at ease or dis-ease.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the Food Matters podcast, your home for nutrition, health and wellness education. My name is Laurentine. I am a filmmaker and a nutritionist and the founder of foodmatters.com, and I'm here to hold your hand on this journey to optimum health, transformation and emotional healing.
Before we dive into today's episode, I want to take a short moment to talk to you about the Food Matters Nutrition Certification Program, because studying nutrition completely changed my life. It helped me to heal my father, get him off 6 different medications, lose 50 pounds, and completely regain and transform his life and health. But the problem is that we're not really taught about nutrition in our schooling system. The medical profession is rarely pronouncing the facts of using nutrition as medicine. And we have a fast food industry that thrives off misleading consumers. So if you're looking to learn about how to use nutrition as medicine to either heal yourself or a loved one or help prevent chronic disease, or you want to take that next step on your study and nutrition journey and become a certified nutrition coach, then the Food Matters Nutrition Certification Program is for you. This is a 10-week or self-paced, internationally accredited certification program designed to take you through some of the most important topics on the latest research when it comes to nutrition and natural healing, including gut healing, autoimmune conditions, balancing hormones naturally, detoxification, biochemical individual approaches to nutrition. Plus, it brings together the best that we know about nutrition science and anthropological research, and bringing these two approaches together to help you cut through the confusion about what to eat and what to avoid for optimum health. To find out more about the Nutrition Certification Program, plus to download your curriculum guide, head to foodmatters.com/study. You can pause this right now. It will only take you 30 seconds. That's foodmatters.com/study, or you can head to the show notes for more information. Have a beautiful day.
Hello, and welcome to the Food Matters podcast. We are so excited to be welcoming a special guest here. It's Sheehan. She's also a very personal friend of mine. Welcome, Jean.
Welcome.
How are you?
I am terrific, Laurentine. How are you, darling?
I am so good. Now, Jean is actually a medical intuitive, and we call her a walking MRI. And what that means is she is able to remote view inside people's bodies and help to understand deeper on what is going on inside of us. And sometimes when we're facing health challenges, this may be a very, very beautiful skill to have. So, Jean, I wanted to bring you onto the program to allow our listeners to learn a little bit more about this special skill. I've personally studied with you as well. So I'd love to hear, first of all, how you are able to do this and how you started with this story and how you developed this.
Oh, thank you, darling. Yeah, it's quite strange when people say, Jean Sheehan, the walking, talking MRI. What does that mean? And that was actually coined by a client of mine. So from birth, I've always been able to see inside the body, the anatomy and physiology. And I didn't quite understand. I thought everybody could do it. I'm not psychic. I'm not clairvoyant or medium. I'm very grounded, but I can see it quite specifically, right down to DNA, cellular memory, deficiencies in the body. And so I went into nursing, pathology and autopsies to quantify what I could see intuitively and ground that information so it can be delivered in a very grounded way. I've always been able to do it. Just like seeing everyone's outside clothes, I can see on the inside as well.
Wow. And this must have been an interesting journey for you, because how did this start, and when did you start realizing that you had this?
So as a child, I was actually squashed with it. My culture, I'm actually Greek Arabic. and grew up with a full burqa, and it was all about being squashed. You didn't talk about it. And I was pinned with an evil eye to say, you know, she's bad. Because as a child, I'd say something's wrong with that person. And it was like I had tainted them. When after I was born, my mother got cancer of the uterus and she couldn't have any more children. So it was considered that I had tainted her womb. So I'd been taught that it was not a gift, it was not a good thing, so I shut it down. And at age 16, my mum died on Christmas Day. And at age 18, I met a lady who was into spiritual things, clairvoyance and palm reading and all that sort of thing. I had no idea what that was. So it reignited what I could do because I just shut it down. But I still didn't tell anybody. And I went into nursing at the age of 18 to quantify what I could see and write case studies about patients and see the commonalities, the links, the emotional links, the physiological links. And about age 26, I became suicidal. I couldn't handle this anymore. As a nurse, I knew what drugs to take, how to end my life really quickly. And I had actually stolen the drugs to end my life because I thought, well, what's the point of this? I just don't feel like I'm working from integrity. When I would look at a patient's body and I would see certain medications are going to kill that person and I couldn't say anything. I'm walking down the street. Do I tell the person this? Do I say anything? And as I had the glass of water and the pills in my hand ready to take them, I had a vision of my young son, who's now an adult, and I just thought, I can't leave him. I can't leave him. I can't do it. So I decided that I needed to come out of the closet, as I call it. And so I caught up with some nursing girlfriends. And at that time, I smoked cigarettes and I drank coffee and I didn't eat healthy. And we met up for what I love to do, which was coffee, cigarette, and talk. And I thought, I need to say it. They're either going to lock me up in a psychiatric unit, they're going to abandon me, or they're going to embrace it. I had 3 choices. So I just said what I could see. And their mouths dropped, and then it opened the door of, why didn't you tell us? From there, it was word of mouth of, can you do it for me? To private sessions, to, can you teach this? Absolutely. To, can you accredit the courses? So yes, so I have my own accredited modality, which is recognized in 28 countries. And when I was doing one-on-ones, I had doctors and naturopaths and speech therapists and all sorts of professions refer to me because they couldn't find the solutions for their patients. And I've stopped since then doing one-on-ones, but I still teach medical intuition. So the journey has taken me from squashing the gift, which I didn't realize was a gift, to fully embracing it and just loving being able to support people with it as well.
Oh, Jean, that is you're such an inspiring person to me. I really feel that we can all learn so much from your story. And, you know, if anything, I would love to hear your insight for others that are on this journey and that have a specific gift or a latent talent that, you know, they're starting to get these awakenings. I feel that this is happening a lot more in our planet right now. We are so starting to feel the awakenings and the remembrance of times before when these latent gifts were part of our speech and part of our, you know, our reality. And what is there to something that you can talk on in regards to others that are feeling this sense of pressure of the modern world and how it doesn't really fit, and how they can realize that they're allowed to talk on this topic?
I think you're spot on, Laurentine. Everybody comes into the world with a gift, and some people's gift is sewing or macrame or what. Everyone comes into the world. And we feel like we have to hold back, not just because of how we're brought up or what people say, but we're frightened to shine. And it was Marianne Williamson with her wording of who we to shine. And that always stuck with me when I heard it at age 18. And we forget that whatever our gift is and our ability to connect, because ultimately it's connection and love and support, like you do through Food Matters, that we're actually servicing the world. We're bringing in a community, that it's so important to shine our brilliance. Otherwise, we become diseased. And that was the biggest thing I noticed when I was nursing. When I was looking inside people's bodies, they were holding back on themselves. And yet, if they could just express part of them, that real core essence, they wouldn't have the dis-ease in their mind and their body. And so it's just knowing about giving yourself permission more than anything else. Give yourself permission. And I heard a saying many years ago, what you think of me is none of my business. There's always going to be people that don't like our flavors of gift. That's totally fine. But there's other people that are ready. And that was my biggest learning of just people are ready. People are ready. So no
People
holding
are so
back
ready.
ever.
Yes. And so what do you feel like, as in, like you said, you were able to look inside people's body and you felt that they were holding themselves back and you felt that that was actually making them sick. Can you talk a little bit more about the fact that you were, as a nurse, walking around amongst people that are quite sick? And what was your experience with this sense of holding back?
So that holding back, it was like they were not allowed to give a voice to who they are. Not allowed to say, well, hi, my name is, and this is what I know to be true, which is very ancient wisdom that you and I have talked about from Atlantis and Lemuria. And when we do that, we say, hi, my name, and this is what I've got to offer, it means that the cells vibrate at such a delicious state. But it doesn't, health is not just being able to say it. It's food, like you're very well aware of. If I'm holding back, I can have nutritious food, but my digestive tract doesn't digest it very well. And so it actually ferments really badly. I could go and work out at the gym, but the same thing can happen, that I limit. It's almost like putting this veil around us that says no matter whether I eat well, exercise, meditate, drink water, if I'm holding back on me and me being able to say, this is who I am, this is what I've got to offer, then the body starts to go into ill at ease or dis-ease. I like the word disharmony. The cells don't know how to vibrate. Whereas when we celebrate, so my culture with the Greek part is like, Opa, we celebrate. Come on. Yes, we're going to feed you. We're going to, too skinny, let's feed you. That vibration, and you could eat whatever it is, and because of the vibration of celebration, your cells thrive, your mindset thrives. The food intake is absorbed way better rather than through like leaky gut and fibromyalgia and adrenal fatigue and all the things that are popular diseases at the moment. Even when people are eating really well, there's this other thing of, no, I just hold back. I won't say who I am or what I've got. What will people think? Who cares what people think?
We can all learn from this. Thank you so much. And so one of your books, and I've read many of your books and they're fabulous. Thank you so much. That talks about how our body knows the answer, and our body is actually our own intuitive imprint, and how we can read our body and we can get more in touch with our body. And we're currently seeing a culture of anxiety. We're seeing a culture of chronic fatigue. We're seeing a culture of even depression and suicidal thoughts, like you mentioned. And I remember as well when James's father went through, he was a successful businessman for many years. He ran an accountancy practice, and just before he turned 55, he became so incredibly sick, and he had chronic fatigue, and he literally couldn't get out of bed for 5 years on all sorts of medications, anti-anxiety, antidepressants, all sorts of pills. Try this one if that one doesn't work. and it wasn't working for him, you know, and because it wasn't working, it was setting him into even more of a depression cycle. I've tried that. This was my only hope. Okay, I'm not getting better. He started to put on weight. He started to feel sluggish. He didn't want to go for his runs anymore. And then he was officially bedridden. Now, bedridden is, we don't want to be there. We don't want to be there. It's sort of like our spirit has sort of given up. And for those that are dealing with that right now, could you shine any light on how we can best treat that?
Sure. And I so agree, especially with the diseases. Diseases go in trends. Like the common cold back in the 1800s was like the Ring a Ring a Rosie song was based upon that. And the diseases that we have now are anxiety, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, adrenal fatigue, gut problems. And part of it is the food that we eat. It's so processed and so high in sugar. It's the way we eat. But it also is understanding that the body's always talking. So fibromyalgia, for example, is a big one that they can't diagnose medically very well because it's got a huge array of symptoms. And what you're describing of your father-in-law, it's like all these things. He was supposedly a successful accountant, but there was other things hidden in the body. And so, and especially where you said, you know, trying all these medications and nothing is working and it's like a spiral downwards. Fibromyalgia is all about the person feels put under pressure, got to force themselves more under pressure, and they're not allowed to shine their brilliance. Things like leaky gut syndrome, which is another big modern disease, is where everything leaks out. As people are given compliments or rewards, it comes in and it just leaks out. They don't know how to absorb. So people have really forgotten how to really just embrace who they are, accept acknowledgement. I did a Facebook Live on it yesterday of own it, acknowledge it, and recognize. Again, own who you are, recognize how incredible you are, acknowledge who you are, and the whole digestive tract from the mouth, esophagus, stomach, small bowel, large bowel, right through to anus, the gallbladder, the liver, the pancreas, the spleen, all the digestive system just says, oh my gosh, let's take those nutrients in. Let's just thrive. Absolutely. So hearing the story of your father-in-law, and I know that you and James were able to support him through a beautiful stage. Just so many people are walking, I'm going to say, they're walking around like they're the walking dead. It's like they're not even present. So in my Bite Me book, where I talk about banish disease through food, I say when you've got food, let's go back to stop. Don't eat it in the car. Don't go through drive-throughs. Stop. Focus on the food. You know, there's colour. Make some colour in the food. Whereas a lot of the pre-packaged meals of, you know, high protein or low sugar or low fat or whatever, if you look, they're all, to me, look like cardboard. There's no life force. Whereas fruits and vegetables and legumes and those that eat meat, I don't eat meat, but those that do, it's like alive. Let's have that. But it still comes back to, who are you? Are you shining your brilliance? Are you saying who you really are? Come on, let's feed that.
That's so well said. And let's talk about a little bit even more of a darker topic, like you mentioned before, with suicidal thoughts. And like if you do end up in that stage where you've gone through an illness or depression and you've reached that sense and that sense of I am so stuck, I don't know where to turn. I feel that there's a lot of people even almost mentally committing suicide by allowing their body to get a disease. And that might sound really harsh, but I've been in this industry long enough to actually notice that a lot of times when I do interview people that are going through pretty serious illnesses, that somehow in their brain, they somehow have manifested. They've manifested and attracted this pain, this suffering, this illness, and then it turned into an illness. Then they went to their doctor, and that doctor then again rewired their brain to make them believe that they have that illness, and then they justify that illness and they stay stuck in that pattern. So what is it about our language and our belief systems that we can actually attract illness?
We actually speak illness. So I'm livid, which means that I'm angry, so the liver gets upset. I can't stomach that, so it's in the stomach. I'm not swearing when I say this, so please, no, I'm saying it so respectfully. I'm pissed off, which is the bladder, urine, which is I'm really upset. Things like, I don't see what you mean. We actually speak the language of the body. And so unconsciously we're saying it. Or I had one client that I was mentoring for about 6 months, and she kept saying, in reference to everything was related to the bowel. It was a word starting with S and ending with T, and that she would always get the S, 2 letters and a T. So I'm not swearing on the recording, but it was all related to the bowel. And guess what she had? Massive bowel problems. That gives me the S. That upsets me and gives me the, and so we speak it. So there is a language. There's also, again, how are people eating? People have forgotten to sit at the table and enjoy the food and be graciously grateful for it, or grow the food, or the colours, the sacred geometry, like the patterns behind me. The patterns in food, I think Don Tolman talks about it, of like an orange. When you slice an orange, it's the same as when you slice a breast. It's exactly the same. Or a tomato, it has the 4 chambers of the heart, which it has the properties for a heart. So there's how we're saying things, how we're thinking, what we're choosing to believe. So you mentioned before, and I don't put the medical system down, having worked in it and still having friends in it, and also teaching the medical system, they're taught that have a pill or chop it off will actually fix it. And yet when I was nursing, say, World War I, II and Vietnam vets, where they had like amputations, they had these phantom pains. And it was all about finding the story. When you sit and listen to somebody, they speak disease or health. And so when I spoke, let's call him Mr. Bloggs, I spoke to Mr. Bloggs, he would say, Jean, I'm so devastated because I left my mate Johnny back at the front line. I couldn't lift him. And so there's this phantom pain in a leg that's not there, and the leg's about destiny. But we don't look at the language and the emotions and the story. Or there was a beautiful gentleman. I was working an afternoon shift while I was nursing, and this patient had like files were really thick. He was in and out of the hospital all the time. And he came in with a leg ulcer and had diabetes, which is part of the package supposedly of diabetes. And he was about to go home. His wound was a lot better. When he came in, it was really quite disgusting and smelly. And I could hear this crumpling noise, and I thought, what's he doing? So I went in and I knocked on the curtain. I just said, Mr. Bloggs, what are you doing? And I opened the curtain. He pulled out the packet of his cutlery from the paper bag and was scraping at his wound that was actually really healthy. He didn't want to go home. In hospital, subconsciously, he wanted to stay in hospital because he had company, he had meals, he had food, he had someone to shower him, he had clean clothes or pajamas. So and that's diabetes. Diabetes is subconscious thoughts they're not aware of. So he is, and the other nurses were judging him. I said, stop, listen to his story. So I sat on the end of his bed and I said, why don't we get you Meals on Wheels, which the food's not very good, but it was better than nothing. Why don't we get you a social worker? Why don't we get company for you? He just didn't know how to express. I'm alone. I get anxious, which is all held in the pancreas. It's all part of diabetes. And yet he had these thick files. He just kept coming back and back and back. So part of health or healing under medical intuition is there's a story. And what are we saying to ourselves? What are we communicating? But it's unconscious. Same as emotional eating, no fulfillment. So we stick it down. when we gravitate to carbohydrates, where people can say, oh, I just could do a biscuit or a cake. What's a food craving? Maybe you're lacking in nitrogen, which comes in high protein foods. So part of the health is like there's this holistic approach, and that's what the word medical means, is the big picture. And that's part of medical intuition, is what's the big picture for the person? It's not just have a pill, chop off a leg. It's look at what's their story, what are they saying? And people speak it. Like when you go to the supermarket or the grocery shop or the park. How are you? Oh, I'm good, but my back. We speak it. We speak the disease. And when you listen, they don't feel supported. They're not backing themselves up. It was in the past. There's a body consciousness to everything, and the body just wants to talk and say, hello, please listen to me. But we've not been taught that.
Are you suffering from gut issues, an autoimmune condition, chronic pain, imbalanced hormones, and you just can't seem to find a solution? Well, you're not alone. If you're listening to this podcast, you likely value your health, your well-being, energy, and vitality. And at Food Matters, we believe that your body is worthy of good care and that there's nobody more suitably qualified to care for it than yourself, which is why we have created the Food Matters Nutrition Certification Program. This program is designed to improve and increase your knowledge when it comes to important topics around the gut, autoimmune conditions, balancing hormones, detoxification. Plus, it really has helped me cut through the confusion about what to eat and avoid when there's so many different dietary philosophies out there, from veganism to paleo to plant-based to whole foods to wild foods to qualitarian, who knows these days. We have assembled some of the brightest minds in nutrition and natural healing, including experts like David Wolfe, Dr. Livy Weaver, Mark Hyman, Dr. Alejandra Junger, and so many more. To find out more about how you can join us on this program and become a certified nutrition coach to help heal yourself, your loved ones, or even help take this message to more people by working with people one-on-one or starting your own wellness business, you can find out more at foodmatters.com/study. Again, that's foodmatters.com/study.
Wow. And this is what is so exciting, Jean, what you're able to teach the world. And it's beautiful that you say that you used to be a nurse, because yes, all of this experience has allowed you to actually go into a teaching and a course and a curriculum that is allowing people to really go beyond that, right? Beyond the medical paradigm. And I mean, I've personally studied in your course as well. It's called Medical Intuition. And there's many different modules. And I know that as part of the medical intuition team, you have practitioners that are now able to support people and to help heal them from a completely different angle, and which is so beautiful. I mean, I think the world is slowly starting to adapt more of these nutritional and natural medicine philosophies and therapies into the healing paradigm. But the more that we have of people like yourselves and your clones and your beautiful people all around the world, the more that we're going to see people really tapping into their intuition and tapping into their vibratory state and going, oh, what does it mean when I have elbow pain and knee pains? And there's so many things that we can look up, right? I remember personally when I got an illness or a sickness or even a joint pain, I would go and look up The Alchemy of Healing by Louise Hay, online. She has like a list and you can actually have a look at what that would relate to in your, either something that's showing up in your emotions or how that relates to different parts of your life and what you're going through. And can you tell me a little bit about heart? Because we see a lot of people with heart problems. What does that speak to?
Yes. So when I would work on the coronary care unit, which is all the heart stuff, heart is about love of self, love of others, it's peace, it's harmony, it's forgiveness. But I would notice something really specific about some of the patients that either had to have a heart transplant or had had a heart attack, and they were angry. They were really angry. And I thought, oh my goodness me, the heart is all about love of self. What are you angry about? And again, when I sat and listened to their stories, they were angry, because all anger is fear. They were just in a state of fear, trying to search and striving to, how do I become lovable? How do I be lovable to you or to the world? And so this constant striving puts stress on the heart valves, the cholesterol levels would go up. Their diet was really poor, really, really poor. And so they just didn't know how to be totally aware of loving themselves and loving others, because that's such a huge thing. And awareness. What is awareness? Awareness is to stop and smell the roses. And 99% of these patients in coronary care didn't stop and smell the roses. They didn't just stop. My favourite thing to stop of smell the roses is like a mango. So I would describe to them, when you get a mango and you slice the cheek off and then turn it over and you score it and you flip it, and then you just dribble mango all over yourself. And I was trying to put them into heart space of, and it's just so sweet. And then it's just dribbling down your face, and you don't eat it in public because it's just everywhere. Yeah? Just to bring them back into that. Yes, totally. So, yeah, that's the heart awareness.
Beautiful.
Totally. And being in love, loving what you do, loving the other person, loving the situation.
Yes, and indulging in things that you love. I love that concept. And I think you're right. I mean, I've caught myself a few times where I was busy walking past a bed of roses and I'm like, busy walking past a bed of roses? No, I'm going to go back and actually smell them. And, you know, like that sense of peace that you receive when you inhale a rose and you actually have a little quiet chat with the rose. And not many people would do this, but you can actually talk to your plants. There's actually a vibratory state where we can adapt, and that we can adapt to be able to interact with plants and the food that we grow. And tell me more a little, might be a bit more esoteric, but do you know more about how we can actually interact with our plants and how we can grow our food and talk to it and allow it to develop the fruits that can heal us and nourish us?
Oh, definitely. So in 2020, everyone went through a phase of, oh my goodness me, let's grow our own fruit and vegetables and things, which I thought, oh my gosh, how divine is that? Plants love to be talked to, and I actually remember grade 6, that's a long time ago for me, but I remember that we had a piece of paper that said love and a piece of paper that said hate, and we had a plant on one and a plant on the same plant, and then we did the same with an apple cut, same apple cut in half. And it was really interesting how the plant with love flourished, the one that with hate, no one said anything, it was just a word, didn't grow. The apple that was cut in half with love didn't go brown as quick as the one with hate. And it's the same thing with plants. And so at the moment, one of my clients has just given me cuttings of her plants, and I've popped them in some water jars to grow roots. And every morning and every night, I go and talk to them. It's like, hello, thank you so much, because it's very hard. When you love them and are grateful to the plant or the fruits or the vegetables, whether it be as they're growing or when I get fruit and vegetables or whatever and I bring them home, I'm so grateful. I probably sound really crazy, but I talk to all the food. When I bring it out of the fridge or I take it from the fruit basket, I'm talking to it as I'm cutting it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Because the plants, just like us, thrive on love rather than fear. And we can tune in, part of medical tuition is tuning into plants, not just fruits and vegetables, but it might be things like she oak, which is great for water retention, great for ovaries, great for women with endometriosis can't fall pregnant. If I'm walking past a she oak plant, I'll just put my hands energetically around it. You don't have to touch it, just to say thank you for the properties, thank you for the healing. Because I look at traditionally, now this is getting a bit woo-woo, traditionally, shamanic ways, Atlantis, Egypt, all those times, we embraced the food and went, oh, thank you. We were so grateful for the food. It was a celebration. It was amazing. The color, the shape, the patterns, and the taste. Back to my mango. Can you tell mangoes are my favorite? Back to the mango again. So by speaking to the fruit and veggie, whether you bought it at the shops, whether you're growing it, you actually give it life form as it gives you life form as well. And it is proven under quantum reality now. Scientists have jumped on board with this stuff, which is amazing to actually prove, yeah, it thrives. And then when it thrives and then you eat it, you thrive as well. So you can talk to any of your plants. You can name your plants if you want to. Mine are all called baby. They're all baby.
I love that, Jean. I totally agree. I'm one of the fortunate and lucky people that have a house in Vanuatu, and we decided to grow a lot of our own plants. And yes, like a bit of a shaman woman, I was out there digging up the dirt and thanking Mother Earth, even when I was digging holes in the ground, and that connection with the spirit of Mother Earth, and feeling that you're putting something in the ground and planting something, and then it comes out. We were planting turmeric, and every morning I have this thing, because turmeric is probably one of my most favorite anti-inflammatory foods, and I'd have turmeric tea every morning in Vanuatu. And this plant, I mean, you have to pull its roots out, so it's sort of like you have to like yank at it, but you got to talk to it. I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I would love to enjoy you, and the plants are totally okay with it, and just having that reverence and that respect for where you're getting your food from. And then I would slice it, and I would put it in my tea in the mornings, or even make some juice out of it. And the properties are so incredibly healing. And I didn't get sick for a whole year, just the plant of the turmeric. And is there any other anti-inflammatory foods that you can say, okay, right now when we're going into flu season and we're dealing with a lot of sniffles and nose issues, is there any other plants and foods that you feel like, oh yeah, these are on top of my list for anti-inflammatory?
Absolutely. Not just anti-inflammatory. This time of year of winter for our Southern Hemisphere, if you look at, like in this program I talk about, look at the seasons and how the plants, fruits, vegetables, animals tell us exactly what to eat, which is the concept of organic. So this time of year of June, we're just about to start winter, all the citrus is out. Mandarins, grapefruits, lemons, limes, it's so beautiful, which a lot of people are in adrenal fatigue by this stage. Either it's a little bit or a big bit. And so the vitamin C is really needed at this time. The flowers that are out that have got healing properties is things like sunshine water, which is all about enthusiasm. The adrenals are tired. So the flower says, here, have some motivation and enthusiasm. Banksia roba, Banksia, again, motivation, enthusiasm for the adrenal glands. Food-wise, as we go into the winter time, it's the root vegetables that give us the good carbohydrates to actually deal with the cold weather. That have that vitamin C, that builds the immune system. The adrenals, the thymus gland, the spleen loves it, just loves it. Now, whether you put it in a solid, whether you juice it, or whether you put slices of whatever in your water. I have hot water and lemon, my favourite drink. I don't drink tea or coffee. So they're really important. But nature tells us what to have every season. And if we follow it, such as summertime, we're very active. So it's the high sugary foods, grapes and watermelon. At this time of year is also the berries, if you can get them. They're great as antioxidants as well. We need that bright colour just to zhuzh us up as well. So I tend to follow what fruits and veggies are naturally out, what flowers are naturally out. You're the ones I want, because nature tells us exactly, have this one.
Beautiful. Yes, the reverence. And in regards to keeping our bodies in a high vibrationary state, obviously we've touched on the different types of foods and those vibrant foods that are fresh from nature without being cooked or modified or adulterated in the food processing industry. But what about things that we can do emotionally or mentally to keep our vibrationary state high?
That's a great question. The first thing I would say is, and it sounds very grounded and logical, is block time. We've become a society that lives on mobile phones and technology, and it's quick, check this, and I'll just do this and whatever. And like, I'll just go through the drive-through and I'll just grab a takeaway coffee or a takeaway. Oh my goodness me, block time. So I always block time for lunch or block time starting at this time, or what I call bookend. First thing in the morning, it's my time. I set myself up for the morning. I journal, I meditate, I go for a walk with the dog, I have great fruit and veggies for breakfast. Same thing at the end of the day, block time. That's my time. Computer goes off. Notifications go off on the phone. All of those things are really important. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Like, I'm very blessed to have you in my life. Having high vibration people lifts the whole body. The cells actually change. In the last couple of years, 2020, 2021, as soon as I heard any TV, radio, or news or whatever come on, off. It was just off. I'm not having that feed my mindset whatsoever. I only listen to uplifting things. I'll listen to uplifting audios or podcasts. I'll have anything that makes me feel great. Make sure you balance your water out. So I have like 4 1 litres of containers ready each night of my purified filtered water with lemon, and it's there ready for me. And I love the colour gold, so they're all in gold glass containers. So those sort of things are about uplifting, but also get away from technology, even though we're on technology at the moment. That is so draining. It's not good for the body. Get out in nature. That's my big nature for me is always, whether it's the forest like this morning or the beach, my psychologist, my psychiatrist, my counsellor. That keeps our vibration up. When you get your food, take the time to look at it. Bless it. Now, I go a little bit woo-woo, Laurentine, with my food, and I talk about it in my Bite Me book. My fruit bowls have got crystals in it. My pantry's got crystals in them and affirmations. The fridge has got crystals and affirmations. My sons grew up this way. They're 22 and 28 now. And so they'd open up the pantry, which didn't have a lot. My pantry didn't have a lot of food in it and still doesn't. But it's like, bang, there's an affirmation. Bang, there's a crystal to energize the food. Or the fruit bowl that was like, chink. Oh, there goes another crystal. Chink. So you can keep up your energy using beautiful crystals or essences or that sort of thing as well, because the body just thrives on all of that. And affirmations. I eat healthy. I love food. I love healthy food. Popping little notes in the lunch boxes of the children. So that when they open up their food, it's like, oh, there's an affirmation.
I love that. It's so true. We can do so much more, huh? I mean, obviously we don't want to stress ourselves out again with more things that we could do, but just the little things in life, just to show our love, appreciation, and gratitude for this life. Thank you. My last question is around animals and how animals can really bring us that sense of peace. And what can we say about animals and those that have animals, how their lives are different?
So part of medical intuition for me is astrology. What retrogrades are in, what's the moon doing, is it full moon, new moon, it's sacred geometry, it's food, it's plants, there's also animals. And every single animal comes into our life, whether we dream it, see it, draw it, it comes into our face. Every one of those animals is there to actually offer healing, gratitude, and a symbol, just like the body consciousness. When you get a headache, it's limitations. If you bump your little pinky or your little pinky toe, it's childhood stuff. There's always symbols of, hey, are you on the right track? And the same with animals. So, say dogs are teachers of unconditional love. Cats have always been used in ancient times to come in, take away any negative energy, and they move on. Things like snakes. The other day I did some animal medical intuition on a group of guinea fowl, because I can't remember, some roosters, chickens, baby chickens, 3 horses, a snake. Now the snake was in the chicken coop, and the owners who grow their own food and really beautiful, they said, we don't really want to get rid of it and we don't want to kill it. I said, let me do some healing on it. Snakes, and it was really just curled up in the chicken coop, which it could have, strangled the chicken or taken the eggs or whatever. And it was just there to say to the owners, because they were new to the farm, it's time to wake up, just enjoy the farm. And so when I did a little bit of healing on it, they said, oh, the snake moved on. It just came as a symbol. Or the other day, I was mentoring a client and I was waiting for her to come, and this dragonfly just hovered right close, and then it went right in front of me and then back onto the side and right in front. Dragonflies are symbols of unconditional love. So I shared that with the client, and she said, I needed to hear that. So every animal, or cockroach, people don't like cockroaches. They're the best because they indicate, I know people are going, oh my God, this lady is crazy. But it's great because it comes in like a scarab or a vulture, come to eat all the dead stuff and take it away. And so when you see a cockroach, it's saying, okay, that's dead. You don't need that. So we used to have full respect, food, animals, stars, weather, seasons, plants. That's all part of health as well. And that's how we used to do health. And that's part of medical intuition. Look at everything, not just a Panadol, not just chop off a leg. There's so much more to what health is.
I love that. I'm seeing spiders at the moment everywhere. What does that mean?
Spiders build a community. If you look at their web, it's very sacred geometry. It builds it round and round and round. Although people are frightened of it, especially like huntsmans that are as big as my hand, they've got 8 eyes, which is all seeing and all knowing. And they build a community, and they're saying, here, come into my community, so that when they're capturing their food or flies or whatever they eat, they're actually saying, come into my community and I've got lots for you. Because quite often they'll spin a web around little bits of food, whatever the food is, but it's saying, come in, I welcome you. And they're all about, especially like if a spider just comes along, which I pick up spiders too, is saying that it's time to be social. Be social, build your community, go out there. Just sadly, sometimes animals are seen as bad, like, no, you've got spiders and a spider's web, you must be a witch. So far from the truth. So far. So yes, build your community, Laurentine, even more so.
Well, that is definitely something that I'm all about. Allowing more conscious people and to step up and, there's so many beautiful communities in the world. There's so many impact makers, and it's so nice to see so many communities even online, and just like what we're doing right now with the Food Matters community, and each and every one of them have a ripple effect. Same with your community and the communities that you build, and even all of your students that they build. It's just a beautiful way to send out these vibrationary forces into the universe. So I love, Jean, I loved this interview, and I love what you stand for. And personally, I would love to continue to work more with you and study more with you, because we need more of this knowledge, and the ancient ways are coming back.
Definitely. And I love everything that you do with Food Matters and the community and for the world. So thank you so much, beautiful soul. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jean. Thanks so much for your time and gift.
For everything that we've mentioned in today's episode, you can check out the show notes. There will be links and information there for you. And before I go, I just wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time to invest in yourself and be here for this podcast. If there's anybody that you can think of who could benefit from this information, please make sure to share it with them. We believe in the power of life-changing information, and it's especially powerful when it's shared from a trusted source. And finally, If you could leave us a comment or make sure to subscribe to the podcast, we would greatly appreciate that. It helps us continue to bring you this life-changing information, and make sure that you get all future podcast updates sent to you. Have a beautiful day, and thank you once again.